Well, Bridget, thank you very much for that kind introduction. I would echo Senator Schaefer's sentiments that it's great to see so many people out here today, including some of my fellow Knights. I don't know that I have much to add to what's already been said today, but I just want to recount something that I was up to last week. I've been a pro-life activist for 30 years. That started in the early 80s when I started a pro-life group on my college campus, Washington University. And I am embarrassed to say that in all those years, this year was the first year I went to the March for Life in Washington, D.C. I brought my two daughters who are here with me today, Christine and Elizabeth. Where are you guys? They're hiding. Oh, there's Elizabeth and there's Christine. As well, and Michael and Joseph are here as well. And I was, despite the fact that they were predicting what was called Snowmageddon and the DC subways shut down for a few days, even though it's less snow than we get most years here, tens of thousands of Americans standing up for the cause of life, braving the storm, braving the weather, going through the expense and time and money to be there. And I was reminded of that. I remember that Time magazine cover. Many of you have seen. I think some of you know where I'm going here. That sign, that Time magazine cover that said, in 1973, pro-abortion forces won an epic battle, and they've been losing ever since. And looking at all the young people at the March for Life and all the young people here today, one place they've been losing is they have been losing in the hearts and minds and souls of young people in our state and in our country. Every generation is more pro-life than their parents. Think about that. Think about that. Think of the direction our society's been going in so many areas, and yet today's young people are more pro-life on average than their parents. And one place they've been losing, as Senator Schaefer discussed, is in legislatures around this country, including the clinic inspection laws. Laws that have the audacity of saying that if you're going to do a surgical procedure known as abortion, sticking sharp instruments into a patient, that maybe you should have the same licensing standards as a clinic that does, say, endoscopies. And actually, Missouri passed the first of all of the ambulatory surgery center laws. And as Senator Schaefer discussed, that law is under attack in front of the U.S. Supreme Court, and let us definitely keep in our prayers the great pro-life lawyers who are arguing that case, and pray for the wisdom of our court. But I want to just relate to you one. When you fight this fight, there are sometimes some very poignant moments that just you can't forget. Sometimes they haunt you. Does anyone here know what Joseph Mengele, the butcher of Auschwitz, did after he escaped to Latin America, to Buenos Aires, Argentina, after World War II? Does anyone here know what Joseph Mengele did for a living? He was an abortionist. The butcher of Auschwitz became the butcher of Buenos Aires. And when we heard my Senate Bill 644, my pro-life bill, 2 weeks ago, a very interesting witness came to testify. Planned Parenthood, as Senator Schaefer mentioned, refused to respond to our subpoena and come and testify. But David Eisenberg, medical director of Planned Parenthood, came to testify against my bill. And what was it St. Paul said, even the devil himself coming as an angel of light? Dr. so-called Eisenberg came testifying as an angel of light. He cared about women's health. He went through all his credentials. On questioning, he couldn't remember how many abortions he did per month or how many abortions his clinic did per month, how many of them were later term abortions, what method he used to kill those babies. He couldn't remember any of those things. I reminded him at the end of the testimony. But finally, Senator Riddle was on the other side of the dais. I was testifying for my bill. Senator Riddle finally in exacerbation said, you know, you talked all about your credentials and your resume. I just don't think you're a very good doctor. And she paused. And he was taken aback. And she said, because half of your patients end up dead. But seriously, pray for the souls of all of those involved in the abortion industry. Pray for Dr. Eisenberg. Pray for all the clinic attendants, the people who, because they need the money, work as janitors or receptionists at abortion clinics. They are involved in an unspeakable moral evil that we cannot begin to fathom. I remember Whittaker Chambers, who converted from being a communist spy to being one of the great, not only anti-communist leaders of last century, but also a great Christian apologist, said that he left communism because he heard screams. And I think every one of you is here today because you heard, in Dr. Nathanson's words, those silent screams of those killed by abortion. You heard the silent or not so silent screams of women who are haunted by their own decisions. Most of all, we need to pray. We need action. Continue to march. Continue to cajole your legislators. Continue to speak out against the unspeakable evil of this abortion, that is abortion. Most of all, continue to pray. God bless you all. God bless our great state. Thank you.